Right then, 8:03. I never let you down, do I? There's always 3 minutes of anticipation, thinking, is it going to work or not? Welcome, people. How you doing? Can someone in the room just say that we are live and you can... Actually, I should be able to type hello and see if it comes up. Hello. Just going to wait a second until I can see somebody is actually in here. And there we go. Oh, no, that was me saying hello. Sure, Mark Newsy is probably going to pick up in a sec. There we go. Danielle's in the house. Good evening, Danielle. Good evening. Let's check that you can come up on the screen. Perfect. Thanks, Danielle. That's great. We don't need anybody else. Tonight, Danielle, it's going to be you, myself, and Nicola Ellwood talking about emotions. Just the three of us. It's going to be quite intense, but there's going to be a lot of sharing. Oh, no, Chris Kitson's here too. And Magnus. See, no, it's fine. It's not the three of us. That's great. Welcome. Right. So, hi, people. How you doing? Thanks for joining us on the Sports Therapy Association. Let's talk about... very excited this evening after last week with Mike Grice, which let's just bring that up again because let's come back to there we are. Mike Grice last week was just record breaking. It was, hopefully I'm not making Nicola, who's waiting patiently in the lobby, feel nervous here, but last week was record breaking figures and the most chatter on the STA sphere ever. So it's only right for me to say thank you again to Mike for delivering such a fascinating... It was a great topic. It was all about the value of going to a cadaver workshop, which Mike organizes. Not at the moment, they're not on, but as Mike said, if you go to his website, if you type in Google, the easiest way is type into Google movement therapy education Mike Grice, and it will come up his website. And click on the middle link, and then you'll go into a short list. It was amazing. If you haven't seen it, then don't worry. As always, I still get a few people on Facebook and Twitter saying, oh, I missed it. Can I watch it? They all go up onto YouTube. Okay, so they're all there. I do encourage you and plead with you to actually subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's probably the only channel where you're not going to get any spam or you're not going to get bothered. It's purely just because YouTube is owned obviously by Google, so it helps us appear more in the index, which is what it's all about, to spread the good word. Okay, so if you get time, I don't know how many people there are in the STA, there's thousands. So in theory, there should be thousands of people subscribed to the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. That's it. Right. Before I bring up this week's guest, which is going to be, I'm going to say it's going to be as good, if not better, because it's a subject which is going to bring a lot of people hopefully out of their shell. It's something very current. We've avoided COVID-19 for a couple of weeks now, but things are changing so fast. A lot of people have now gone back to clinic, and even people who haven't gone back to clinic are going to be in the same boat, as in emotions and confusion. And we've done kind of imposter syndrome before, and being your worst enemy, and struggling and blah, 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 blah. There's lots of stuff, and emotional baggage is probably not the most appropriate word to use, but it is, isn't it? It's something which just shoulders up here. So tonight is all going to be about that, about how to get the most out of yourself and obviously your practice. And we're delighted and honored to have somebody of Nicola Ellwood's caliber here to help us with that. Before that, a note from my sponsors. No, it's not a note from my sponsors. It's something that I found online, which I wanted to share with you, because the STA is all about sharing. Does anybody know what this is? Answers in the comment stream. I'm going to have a little look, actually, first of all. First person will win nothing. Any idea what this is? I'll give you a clue. I'm going back to college to teach next week or so, and I'm a little bit anxious. In fact, I'm going to talk to Nicola about this. I'm a little bit anxious about the responsibility, about the fact that our beloved, fantastic, trust-inspiring government, who never get anything wrong, have said, don't use masks in clinic. And then 17 people in a Scottish school end up contracting it in the corridor. I'm a little bit worried, a bit like the A-level results. Who would have thought it would have all gone wrong? So this is something to do with that, because I will be wearing a mask at the front, as well as taking 2 meters. This is to do with masks. Has anybody... It's a face mask support. That must be Gary. It's a face mask pusher outer. Very technical. It's a face mask filter. A filter, yes, because this stops the COVID-19 particles, which we know from the photos are about that big. So it's a very good filter. In fact, you don't need a mask. Nothing. who was that? Honestly, Christopher Kitson. Just when I think you, it's a face mask insert. It is. It's brilliant. It's such a easy, obvious thing to do. So this is a face mask with a filter inside. These are the ones I like. I can give you a link if you want. It's just easiest to speak, and they've got a little nose clip, so it fits really nice. And this little gem just goes inside it on your mouth. The result, let's put it the right way around. No, the result is it holds the mask kind of a little bit away from the mouth, which one helps if you are talking to somebody, if you're in a staff room or something, or maybe even teaching if you've got nobody who needs to see your mouth when you're talking. And two, it just helps you breathe. If you wear glasses, then it doesn't steam up. I'm hoping everybody can still hear me. But yeah, and they're like $5 or something on Amazon Prime. It feels so much more comfortable. Honestly, I'm not getting any royalties for this or anything. It's just simply sharing, because I found it on the teacher's website in the States, actually, where, funnily enough, they all have to wear masks. It's weird that, isn't it? How the UK decided it's not necessary and there's no danger. But anyway, I found it from somewhere and they just said it's a lifesaver, because if you're wearing it for a 3-hour lecture or something. Anyway, so I have actually, because I am so surprised by it, there you go. I've put that on there for you. There's a few that sell them, but this was the best place I found. Because why? Well, it's simple. Because it's reduced from £11.99 to £5.88, obviously. There you go. They sell it as a BI Yo-Yo Protect Lipstick Lips. Okay, that's fine. I can deal with that. It's not actually for my lipstick, but there's a double bonus. If you are wearing lipstick at work, then it's going to help not smudge it. There you go. So I'm hoping some people go, wow, what a great idea. Get it. I think it's a lifesaver. It's really good. So there we go. Boom. If you want the link for the mask I use, which after looking around, I think are brilliant as well. They have this little nose thing at the top here, which just you squeeze when it's on. It just sits it perfectly. And it's got a filter, and you can change the insert. They're not disposable ones. You can actually wash them and change the filter and buy new bits. So for me, that's the combo, along with the visor I've got as well. Because I believe in taking maximum precautions when it comes to life. It's like in that thing, where you sit down in a restaurant and they say, we've got this special today, which is special exotic fish. There's a 1% chance you might die from eating it. I'm going to go for a hamburger or something. I'm not going to eat the fish. I believe in just not taking chances when it comes to your life. But anyway, enough of that. So tonight, Nicola Ellwood. She is coming up now because, as I said, we've been asking people, if you've got a particular topic or subject you want to talk about and get an expert up here to help you with answers and solutions, then email in. And we've had quite a few emails about dealing with the emotional pressures of returning to work and not returning to work. And it's a huge topic and something which I really believe we can help in the STA group, in this group. We're on episode 14 now, and it's such a lovely group. If you've not been here before, then hopefully you'll see tonight that people aren't afraid to talk, to share what happens in, well, bear in mind, there's no password or anything to get into here, so don't share too much if you're going to regret saying it afterwards. Your employees could come in and see you here or whatever, so don't share too much because we are in the public domain. But it's a lovely group, so I'm hoping that if anyone's got any questions, any fears, if anything that Nicola says inspires you to open up a little bit, go for it. Because like I said on the advert, take a problem to a room and you realize that it's either not the worst problem or everyone else is got the same problem. So with that little intro, I will now click and bring up Nicola Ellwood. There we go.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello. How are you?
Yeah. Hello. All right.
We had a few technical problems, didn't we, for the last 5 minutes, but it's all relaxed now.
Did. We had a few. That's all right. Okay. We're here.
So there we go. Thank you very much for joining us. Like I say, I'm hoping that we're going to chat a little bit about what you do and everything. But I'm hoping in the meantime, there's already a load of people in here, kind of 40 people in here. As and when you are inspired to ask questions or comment, whether it's agreeing, disagreeing, let it out. We're all nice, respectable people. Anything you say is valid. Let it out. Let it out.
I thought we were going to have a therapy session with you earlier on, actually, Matt.
Well, there are a few things I need to talk about. Oof, tell me about it. Tonight is not a wine, is not a water night. Tonight is a Malbec Argentinian night.
Oh, isn't it?
Oh no, tonight, yeah. So you'll see gradually as we start talking, my eyes just disappearing. So let's.
Good. This is good.
Yeah, good. If I'm going to talk to anyone, it's going to be you, isn't it? Let's face it. Tonight is where I can let my heart out. So, can you, just for people who aren't aware of it, you're based in Lincoln, aren't you? Is that right, or near Lincoln?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And you've chatted with Gary before, being a Lincolnite.
Being a Lincolnite, yeah. I'm not. I'm a Southerner, as you might tell from my accent. But
I was going to say, yeah.
I have done for 15 years. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I met Gary. Oh gosh, probably about 4 years ago. I think I've spoken at the STA conference at the Therapy Expo 3 times.
Oh, fantastic.
Just to, I guess, you know, I'm a big fan of what you guys do to support your members. I think there are very few associations that do so much, actually. And I love sort of Gary's innovative, forward-thinking approach. So, yeah, we just, I guess, came from the same place in terms of our beliefs about what this industry is about, really, and its potential impact. So yes, I've been kind of supporting many of your members and speaking at different events over the last few years.
Fantastic. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, so
is it tricky saying what you are? Executive coach. Because if I just referred you and introduced you as an executive coach, to me personally, that doesn't give much away. Whereas a mind and communication specialist is like, okay, what's the deal with executive coach? Is that to help people in business, or?
Yeah, I have 2 areas of my work. So I'm a mind and communication specialist. So I help people think well and communicate in ways that are productive for them instead of unproductive. I'm kind of a specialist in well-being and transforming thinking so that people think well, communicate right, and behave exactly as they want to. And I've worked with many elite professional athletes over the last few years. I have kind of two sides to me, really. I love performance. I love helping people be their best. So if you look on my website, look at my blog, I've worked with loads of golfers and quite well-known, I guess, you know, people who have achieved some quite cool things. And in the executive coach land, so that's in organisations, I work with leaders, like business leaders, organisational leaders, helping them be their best. Because if they're their best, then their organisations are kind of good cultures to be in and nice places to work. So so I help leaders and I help athletes. Those are kind of my 2 passions, really. So yeah.
Why do you think that's fantastic? No, why do you think, and this might not be an easy question, but why do you think you or people of your skills are in such demand? Is it just by nature we're all rubbish at looking after ourselves or thinking productively, or what's the deal?
No one teaches you this stuff. No one teaches you how to do it. It's my biggest thing. I wish people taught this stuff in schools. How to think well. They're starting to. I mean, things like, you know, meditation, mindfulness, positive psychology. They're starting to teach all that sort of stuff in school. But it's like, flipping heck, they're doing it now. We needed it 10 years ago. We need it for our generation now. So yeah, people don't know how to think well, and they don't get taught how to, I guess, overcome limits to their thinking. And you know, everything that we believe is our truth. It is not the truth. We just believe it, and that can be productive. That belief is great, and really unproductive if that belief is not great. So yeah, I don't believe in positive and negative emotion. I think it all has a purpose, but it's about, okay, so what's useful.
Brilliant. Okay, which is what we're gonna try and keep on track tonight, and remember that it's isn't a counselling session for me, because I'm already getting drawn into the sound bites I'm hearing. Like, I just want to lie down on my couch now, but that's not going to happen because I remember there's people out here as well. But we're going to try and keep it in relation to, well, obviously in relation to therapists. Whether, I mean, a lot of us are sports therapists, some are massage therapists, but there's also going to be people in here who are osteopaths or ex-osteopaths or from different. But if we talk about people who are generally working hands-on, which is the common theme here, going back to work. What have you seen as some of the reasons why, the problems we're running into? What is it about our industry and working with people and the whole empathy thing we need to give, which causes us to run into emotional problems?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I mean, I don't work in a hands-on role, but you guys do, and you're built to serve people. You're built to serve people, as I am in my world. And what that means is that you've got to have resources within you to give. And actually, there's no underestimating what we've just been through and are still going through to quite a bit of an extent, really. You know, who knows what's coming next. We have been through the biggest amount of change that some of us will experience in a generation. And in a sense, our resources, our internal resources are down. And so when people are thinking about getting back up and going again, they're like, flipping heck, I haven't got enough for me, never mind anyone else. So it's just, I mean, that comes from a place of I recognise that in myself. You know, I haven't stopped this lockdown personally, and I've noticed this before I had a holiday last week, I was knackered, and it's just that realisation that we only have so much within us, and therefore it's not always easy to give, especially when our job is to give. So there's there's that sort of self-awareness in terms of that are kind of, we may not have everything that we want to be able to be as excited and as driven and as motivated as perhaps old versions of us have been. I guess there's something around many of us believe we should be doing things and must be doing things, but there is a difference between what we should do and what we want to do. And it's like when you think about going back out there and starting again, people believe, okay, so we're going back to a normal. Kind of not. We're doing new things in new ways, even though much is the same. We're doing new things in new ways, and our client base, they're going through exactly the same thing as us. So it's like, when you think about getting back out there, make it easy. Make it as easy as you can, because if you think about going back to, I guess, all the things that perhaps you didn't like or you didn't want, or all singing, dancing version of your practice, then that may not be as appealing for you. So it's like, what is a version of what you do for your clients that actually you can easily do? Because if we start off with what's easy, we can then move forward from there.
It's very good. I like that.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, very much so. It's bizarre, really, because
I
wonder how much of it is because a lot of therapists, this is the sort of thing we're telling our clients all the time, you know, and yet it's a classic case of us not listening to our own medicine, isn't it? Do you think it makes it worse when you are somebody in a position where you're handing out all this great advice and stuff that you don't manage to do it yourself? Is it always that kind of juxtaposition of
completely? Yeah, because you'll have, and some of your people may relate to this, you have a little voice going, you know, I don't know, you know, you're lying, they can tell you're not doing this yourself. There'll be something in there that's kind of and we're humans, but we're also animals, and very small proportion of our communication is what we say. So if you're not feeling it, if you're not on it, if you're not full of the energy that you want to have, and yet you're saying you are, your clients are going to see it. Yeah, it's just the reality, you know. And I know when I was what was it? I was on a flat time, you know, during lockdown, and one of my clients went, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Oh shit!" Sorry, excuse my language. Oh yeah, I am. I am all right, you know, but I'm knackered. So at that point, I realised I needed to take a holiday because I wasn't giving what my clients needed.
So it's almost a vicious circle then.
Yeah.
If you're not
You've
at
got,
ease and you're struggling with
yeah,
yourself, and you're gonna put out, because I love what you say, that the clients are going to pick up on all of this, your body language. You're going to end up having problems with your business because clients are going to think, oh, they're not very happy, not going to come back, not book in, and then it just spiral out of control. Then,
in a sense, yeah, it could potentially get
unless
worse,
you change
or you
yourself.
could
Yeah.
potentially burn yourself out. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It's like, be self-aware and know what enough is almost. I mean, if you have got the energy and the resources to go full throttle, good. There's something else I wanted to say about the other reason why we don't always do the things that we want to do, and the kind of the problems for us getting out there. We have two levels of thinking, or two types of thinking. We have our intuitive thought, which is kind of like, oh, I might do this, or oh yeah, I want to do this, or yeah, I want to start my practice next week, or and you have all of these ideas that come from a place of gut almost, yeah. But then the second type of thought is, yeah, but what if? Yeah, but what if you might get COVID, or yeah, but what if this happens? Um, and 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 it's that second thought that always debilitates us and stops us from doing the thing. So I guess when you think about what you want, when you're thinking about getting out there, it's like, trust the first thought. The second thought will try and limit you. And you know, as you guys are listening to this podcast, you know, this live session, outside of this, just pay attention to your thoughts, because what you'll notice is your first thought is like, oh, I'm going to do this, and it's kind of full of positive action. And it's always the second one that tells you can't, you shouldn't, you mustn't. So if you have got the energy, trust the first thought.
It's powerful stuff. You just
Ooh,
described how
yeah.
the voices in my head every morning. Get out of bed. It's going to be great. It's not. It's going to be terrible. You may as well just stay in bed. No, you can. Like, this is the conversation. How to just get out of bed. Kids are downstairs are screaming. Amazing. Let's just to remind people out there, if any of this is touching true with you, I mean, there's so much already which I can relate to. If it'd be
It's
nice
so
to get some
funny, yeah.
personal testimonies from people in here who have felt the same things that Nicola's talking about. If you still are, or even if you found kind of remedies yourself, then feel free to use the comments to chat and share. If not, if you don't chat, if you don't put anything in the comments, then me and Nicola, we've got lots to talk about. And like I say, it may end up with a consultation for me.
I think there's
But
something I would invite your people to think about, your members to think about. It's like, how do you take care of yourself? Yeah, because I bet many people will have, yeah, sure, your practice and your work, but you've also probably got kids. You've also probably got, you know, maybe financial stuff going on. There's a lot that people are dealing with, and I've been coaching clients in sport and in leadership all of this time. It's like, flipping heck, there's so much to deal with. So it's like, how do you take the pressure off? How do you serve yourself well so that you rebuild and recharge and re-energize and resource yourself? It's like, many of you may be familiar with the concept of meditation, for example, and I'm a massive advocate of that, because the neuroscience behind meditation is huge. Even just, I think it was it like 40 minutes a day is the same chemically as having 4 hours sleep, in terms of how much it rebuilds your brain and re-resources you. So, you know, what are the habits that you have when you're thriving? Yeah, when you are energized, what are the habits that you have that are daily? What are the things that you do? Like going out for a walk, yeah, spending time with your mates, having a laugh, or your partners having a good time, whatever that is. Those things right now are fundamental. They are almost more important, because you're the one that's got to go out and do the thing and do the work. So you're the ones that need the energy. So it's almost like, if you're planning your diary, plan in time for you, whatever that is, even if it's just like 15 minutes, you know, but it's important. getting on my soapbox now, Matt. Sorry.
No, it's brilliant. You stand up there and you shout, sister, as much as you can, because I'm taking notes down here at the side. It's brilliant. It's interesting you say kind of, yeah, in a diary, because again, it's something we say to clients, isn't it? Oh, I haven't got time to go to the gym. Well, you need to go to the gym to do your rehab. And so make it into a business appointment right in there every day. I've got to go and have the hour off to go to the gym. It's stuff we give people, but we don't do ourselves.
Yeah, totally.
Looking in the comments, people are still a little bit quiet. Is that because you've all lied down and with your head on a pillow and just taking it all in? One thing,
they're more excited session.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, they're just sort of lying back, taking it in. But there's still an awful lot of you out there. So come and start sharing, people. And surely there's some of you who've got issues and problems which you haven't managed to sort yet. Or equally, if you've got things which you have sorted. Is anybody out there doing meditations? If you want to back them up, I can't meditate. I've tried. I'm a bit of an insomniac. And I have this massive dilemma where the only way I don't know whether it's just me, the only way I can go to sleep is if I'm listening to a podcast or something. My wife will lie next to me, close her eyes, and I say to her, what are you thinking of? And she go, well, nothing. I've just closed my eyes. I'm like, what? You close your eyes and you see nothing, just darkness. I close my eyes and that's when the lights come on, and I've got monkeys with symbols and all sorts of thoughts. And I've been told, oh, just take yourself to that space. No. If I put a podcast on for a quarter of an hour, I'm asleep. But I don't know whether I sleep well.
Well, there's meditation, and in a sense, a podcast could be a kind of meditation, because you're away with the fairies. You're away thinking about whatever it is. I'm a big fan of a guided meditation. Still meditation, I'm with you, Matt. It's not easy, and that's probably the hardest way to learn. But a guided meditation where you've got 15 minutes and somebody's taking you on asking you to do things with your mind, that's meditation still. And it's learning to train the brain. The brain is a muscle, Matt. So, you say your brain goes all over the place. Yeah, mine used to, but you train it. It's like, it takes 21 days to create a new habit. It's things like Headspace are lovely for this, because you get like 10 days free to try it out. And even at the end of that 10 days, you notice it. And if you don't do it, you really notice it. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the guided meditation. If people want to try it, and Headspace is really nice.
And white noise and stuff.
Can I just say? Yeah, well, yeah, that's still keeping your mind silent. White noise.
Right. Yeah.
There's something I want to say about the state that you go into when you are meditating, and when you are almost like a trance-like state. I don't know if your members know this, but you have to go into trance every 20 minutes. So you go into a state of trance every 20 minutes. And
is this when you're sleeping, sorry, or when you're just during the day?
No, when you're awake. Oh
yeah.
So do you ever drive from A to B and you don't know how you got there?
Most journeys.
Yeah, that's trance.
Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself gazing out the window with some drool sort of coming down here?
Yes.
Yeah. That's trance.
Yeah.
So it's just that state of your mind is elsewhere. It's like a relaxed state. It's lovely. And
not so lovely for my wife, because
in itself,
my sense of direction, I do, my driving for me relaxes me, but I just end up following the car in front of me. I do drift off and it's wonderful, but I drive my wife. But I'm a whole case here. I'm not going to talk about me.
If people do want to try meditation, I'd really recommend the guided one.
And on your website, is there links on your website? Are there links to recommended kind of sites?
No, I haven't. No, because I just recommend apps really. If you're starting, I recommend the Calm app is really nice. They tell you there's stories for you to help you go to sleep. There's and then the Headspace I really recommend, but ultimately it's what works for you. So if meditation isn't for you, don't do it. It's like, but what is for you? Is it taking your dog for a walk? Is it playing with the kids and having 15 minutes out? Build it in. Don't go, get up, eat, run out the door, work, come home, eat, telly, bed. Build time in for you. Full stop.
Fantastic. Right, we've got people talking now. Obviously, something that you or I have said has got people going now. Let's have a look. Well, Louise Aker, boom, first time I've called her Aker, not Archer. Bam, there you go. And it took me 14 episodes, Louise. Louise says, I run to get me time. I run to get me time. Is that you, Louise, or have you swapped yourself?
Yeah, get me time.
There's an interesting here as well, because sometimes people say they go out and run, they go to the gym, they do exercise to relax, to disconnect. But that could be, and I'm wary of this with patients, you think you're de-stressing, but if you're going for quite a hard run or you're going to the gym and working out hard, aren't you? You might be escaping for a moment, but you're adding more stress to the body, and later on that could be counterproductive. Or
it's about trusting yourself and
are you
trusting
thinking about it?
your
Or are you frozen?
trusting your client to be self-aware enough. You know, if, like Louise says there, she goes to get me time. I know I have so many clients who go to get me time completely, you know, and therefore if that's what it achieves for you, great. You know, again, the neuroscience behind going for a run in terms of what it does to your brain chemically, in terms of working through emotions and memories, is fabulous. So if that's your thing, do it and build it in proactively. Absolutely, Louise.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. We're going to leave your comment on there for a while now, because that's got like a gold star on there. So yeah, exercise in itself and running. Mark Newsey. Oh, here we go. Mark Newsey is back to Headspace as well. Headspace were and maybe still are offering 12 months free subscription. There you go. If you haven't been working.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me. They're really forward thinking. So yeah, check it out. Really, really, honestly recommend it.
We'll go through the comments a little bit now, if that's right for you, Nicola. Becky Carroll says, if we therapists burn out, we are no good to anyone. We have got to look after ourselves to help others. It's very true, isn't it?
Completely. I often say this to my clients, and it feels a bit weird to say it sometimes, but you are the most important person in your life. Yeah. And what people often say is, oh no, my kids are, my kids are. I'm like, no, if you don't have you, the kids don't have you. So you are the most important person in your life. So it's like, serve yourself so that you can live the life that you want to live. Be that for your family, be that in your practice, whatever your agenda is really, and where you notice a deficit.
It's a very powerful thing to have someone say that to you. It almost makes me want to cry. This is where life coaching comes into it. Where, you know, no, but it does. You feel.
I have a master's in personal coaching. So.
But when you have, I don't know if anyone else is out there, or maybe I'm just sharing too much here, but I've just got dust in my eye. No, but this is why I totally understand. It is a stressful time at the moment. I'm going through a lot of stress with returning to college. I personally think that a lot of colleges were just part of a big experiment by the government and colleges to see if we can go back to school, and if we can't, well, we'll lock down again. But having someone saying to you, you are the most important person in your life, sort of thing, or however you said it. When you hear that, suddenly it breaks the fast highway that you're on without stopping all day long. And it's kind of really important that someone says it to you. It makes you stop, put on the brakes.
Well, it's the mindset of coaching. It's like, what life do you want to live? It's your life, you know. and it's like, you have all the resources within you to live it. So there we go.
Alex Hogan says, I'm a big advocate of meditation, have done for years, but ironically, I've done next to none in the last 3 months. Just started again in the last couple of days. How do you explain that?
Yes, it's really common. What happens is we forget. When we're under stress, we forget the things that are fundamentally important that keep us well. So Alex, you're so not alone. Everyone has forgotten because they're dealing with, panic mode, dealing with the urgent and important here and now. But it's those things that really recharge you that, again, that enable you to have more resources to deal with the here and now. So, yes, start again, keep going.
Hopefully what you're saying today will kickstart a few people to realizing it and remembering it. Hold on, I haven't done that for ages. What's going on? Gary, never a big man, but never afraid to share his emotions. Gary here. I'm guilty of not taking care of myself. I'm getting better at it as I have a couple of people constantly reminding me. Well, that's good. I wonder who they are. I wonder who's on you the whole time. I imagine Summer's one of them, but I don't know who the other one is. He said that twice, actually. Danielle, what does Danielle say? Also another big fan of Headspace. And also done an 8-week mindfulness course with Breathworks or Breathworks.
Brilliant.
Is it Breathworks? Yeah,
lovely.
Which was life-changing. Yeah, I would highly recommend it. Are you familiar with that? What's that about, that course?
Breathwork stuff is about, mindfulness is learning how to use use your mind and your thoughts. But there's a whole practice called, you know, breath works, and using your breath to actually recharge and affect the nervous system, which I often use with my clients when I'm working with them. There's also, guys, if you want to learn about mindfulness, there is a free course. Sorry, Danielle, you probably paid for that course, but there is a free course called it's called Palouse, Palouse. If you Google Palouse, I think it's called Palouse Mindfulness, and it's an 8-week program. And if you want to learn how to do it really, really well, then check that out. It's a full-on course though, with proper, you know, work and everything. So, but if you want to do it, that's a free one. Sorry.
Palouse, you reckon? Someone Google
Palouse,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll stick a tag for that in the comments. So it's here when we stop talking. We'll be able to look back at that and check it out. Brilliant. This is great. People sharing different ideas. We've got Timothy here. Timothy Grigg is saying, I was bought a book called Law of Attraction.
Oh, were you now? Good,
found
man.
It's amazing. It's very positive mindset. Taught me to focus on what I want and not what I haven't. Tell me about Law of Attraction.
You are a man after my own heart. Yeah, the Law of Attraction. It's verging on the spiritual side, okay, but it's spiritual / quantum physics. Recognizing that we and the universe are all energetic beings. This whole thing that we are is this world is energy, and we're all connected in some way. And if we set our intention for the life that we want to live, for what we want, we're basically sending a message out to the universe. And that process in itself of being clear on what we want, why we want it, and almost feeling grateful for it is such a positive, inspiring thing to do. And the law of attraction suggests that we get it back in return. And I have had 3 tangible experiences of getting exactly what I put out there. It's quite a thing. If you want to find out more about it, if there's a book called The Law of Attraction, great. There's something called The Secret, which you may or may not have heard. The Secret is the Law of Attraction. That's great on audiobook. It's quite hard read. It's quite a boring read, but if you listen on audiobook, that's a great book for really inspiring you.
Okay, I'm making a note of these as we talk. Yeah, audiobooks. Yeah, maybe listening to something like that instead of podcasts about running or something. That'd be a good idea. Great. Okay, well, thanks for sharing that, Timothy. That's great. Sarah Jones, people are really piping up now. Let's have a look. I've reduced my working hours to get better balance. It's clear I was overdoing it pre-lockdown. It took a global pandemic to get me to recognize that I've used the last 4 months to immerse myself in things I enjoy, like gardening, sewing, meditation. Trying to make an effort to keep things up, or these up. I use Insight timer for guided meditations.
Yeah. Sorry,
I like just sitting listening to birds.
Another really good one.
Yeah. How does that work? Tell me about that.
It's just another app. It's another app of all different people who submit. Rather than it coming from a company like Headspace, it's all, you can upload your meditations onto Insight Timer. One of my friends is a big contributor to it. Yeah, it's just another thing. But Sarah, well done. I'm a big fan of doing less better. Doing less really well. We spread ourselves. It's so easy to spread ourselves thin, and it takes a brave, self-aware person to say, do you know what, I'm going to do a little bit less, and I'm going to actually serve myself a little bit better, and then the work that I do will just be that little bit more resourceful.
Another Alex here's pat on the back for Insight Time as well. Great alternative to Headspace. Hundreds of free guided meditations in different styles.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. That's a really good one.
Lots to check out. Becky Carroll is currently sitting there shouting like Jerry Maguire, "Help me, help you." That's great. It's hilarious. It's good.
Love it.
Brilliant. Yeah, keep the comments coming, people. I'd like to see people talking about maybe some. Is everybody in here really happy and sorted? Is everyone just meditating every day and got no problems or issues?
Everyone good? Is anyone thriving? That's what I want to know. Is anyone like,
it sounds like no one's got any problems in here. I want to hear somebody. I want to hear somebody letting out some pain. I want to hear somebody that people are worried about and want and use Nicola in it. I want to hear that someone's suffering, so that Nicola here can basically help you out and give you some ideas. So if anyone here is suffering, then please share. Please, somebody suffer. Might be a bit old school now. Catherine Reimer says, but there is a DVD of The Secret as well.
Yeah, they made a DVD after the book was launched. Yeah.
Was that a film?
Yeah, it's a film. Yeah.
All right, cool. Okay.
You can probably find it on YouTube. But listen to the book. The book is good because there's so many scientists. Even though it's like a bit woo because it's quite spiritual, it's all backed by science. I flipping love it. I love it when kind of East meets West. It's fabulous.
Brilliant. Okay, there you go. East, yeah, that's nice. That's good. Right. Okay. And as Sarah Jones concludes there, totally zen. There we go. Let's move away from yin and yang and zen for the moment and go back to some techniques then. You've mentioned a few already, which were great, which I'm making a note down, like booking time in your own business diary to make sure you're giving time to yourself, etc.
Yeah.
The meditation. Anything else you think, any other gems which you tend to give out for looking after ourselves in the short term? Because let's face it, we don't know what's going to happen long term.
There's a big one. There's a big one, actually. And for those of you who have heard me speak before or know me will have heard me say this before, there's something about what the mind does when we experience stress and when we experience negative emotion. Okay. You're familiar with the future, the past, and the present. Yeah. So here we are sitting here, we're in the present. And we think of something, maybe about our practice, maybe something we're worried about, and we either go into the future, and some of the emotions that we experience in the future are things like anxiety, worry, concern, nervousness, apprehension, negative, quite high energy emotions often. Yeah. Or we go into the past where perhaps we are depressed, sad, deflated, resentful, guilty, whatever that is. And they're often lower, or we might be frustrated. They could be lower or higher energy emotions, but they're our emotions. What our mind does is our mind hops into a little time machine, and we either go into the future, worrying about what might happen, or into the past, thinking about what has happened in the past. The truth is that your brain and your mind is here in the current. So, if you find yourself feeling a negative emotion, just notice: are you in the future or are you in the past? Either one is okay, and it's not productive. Where you need to be to serve yourself well is right here in this room, thinking about what do you want. Yeah. Imagine as you look forward, what do you want to create? What effect is it that you want to have? And what do you need to do right here, right now, to give you the best chance of achieving that outcome? Forget the past and the future and the emotion. Our brain is tricky, but it has a positive intention. Every emotion that we experience has a reason behind it, okay? Because it comes from our brain, of course it does. But to be resourceful and to be productive is to be here with yourself in the present moment, thinking about, okay, so what is it I want and what is it I need to do right here, right now, to take one step even towards moving towards that. That make sense?
I'm just going to look at the comments for a while and see what everyone else is saying.
Just remember, your brain is a time machine. It goes into the past and the future. If you, that's the one thing you remember. When you experience a negative emotion, your brain becomes a time machine. So be in the present. The
present is called the present for a reason, isn't it? There we go. Because it is a present. Isn't that beautiful?
No time like the present.
I saw somebody actually started sharing something they were worried about, and that made me think, yes, somebody's suffering. Let's have a look. Who was it? I think, who was on his? Oh, here we go, Timothy. What is Timothy? I might not be the only one. I'm sure you're not, but I'm constantly looking over my shoulder at the possibility of a local lockdown and having to shut my clinic again. There we go. Very industry specific. What recommendation would you have for somebody who is like dealing with that kind of fear the whole time of what could be, what might be? And
I'm going to do a drawing.
Oh, okay. There you go, Timothy.
Okay, I'm going to do a drawing. Right. Hang on. High-tech technology right here.
Great question, by the way, Timothy. Okay. Brilliant. Thanks for sharing that.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's you thinking about your practice. Yeah. Outside of in this circle here is everything that you worry about. We call it your circle of concern. But the fact is, you can only control everything that is here. Okay? We have a tendency to worry about things that we have absolutely no control over. And we give away all of our energy thinking about those things. So if you find yourself thinking about something that, worrying about something, it's like, what am I actually in control of? What's in my circle of control? Because at the moment, I'm probably thinking about my circle of concern. But the fact is, I can only actually control. In fact, you can only control what is going on inside your skin. So what is it that you are in control of? What can you do? What measures can you take? What steps can you take to protect yourself, to make yourself feel a little safer? Because notice what time zone you are in when you're worrying about a potential lockdown. You're in the future, I think, from the sounds of it. So here right now, what are you in control of to actually serve yourself and take some steps towards protecting yourself? Useful. That's where my mind goes.
There you go, Timothy. Come back with that. Louise Aker kind of says she's in the same boat. So thanks for sharing that, Louise, and making Timothy feel he's not alone. He's obviously not alone. Everyone's worried about what, especially if you've got a clinic and your income comes from that. I suppose this is all with the assumption that you've done everything possible to set up a plan B if it does all go pear-shaped. You can't just sit back and just think about.
Do you have a plan B? Yeah. Have you done everything that you can within your control? If you can go to sleep at night knowing that you've done everything you can, well, all that there's left to worry about then is the stuff that's in your circle of concern, and you can't control that. So it's like, stay in the present, go to sleep.
I suppose there's people who spend so much time in the circle of concern that they don't spend enough time sorting out their control circle and doing things which could actually solve this problem.
You are exactly right. And trust me when I say you are completely normal if you do that. Everybody does it. Yeah, it's part of the whole fight and flight thing. It's part of that natural ingrained animal response we have. We worry about what might happen.
Right, Chris Kitson's finally shared. He's finished with his jokes now. He's finished with everything, and now he's going to open up. So this could get deep. Tissues, people, get ready. Chris Kitson says,
I'm ready.
I've been a bloody nightmare the past few years. Gone from complete burnout, but starting to get there now through looking after myself more. Oh, it's moving. And generally not taking on too much. Definitely still feel guilty saying no to things. Okay, we'll come back to that. That's good. But also recognize how important it is to do less better, as Nicola mentioned. That's a good one, isn't it? Guilt. Guilt's horrible, isn't it? What a wasted emotion guilt is. Talk to me about that. Talk about guilt and how people should avoid guilt, or what you can do. Because therapists do feel guilty. Like you said, we want to give so much. We want to give everything we can to help our clients and patients, but sometimes we can't. So what do we do, Nicola?
Well, it depends on why we're feeling the guilt. There's no one answer to that, if I'm honest. It's like, what's the thought behind the guilt? Is it that you're not going to be able to help people? Is it that you might not do a good enough job? Is it Many people feel guilt because they're at work and not spending time with their family. What's behind the guilt? And it's like, so say for example, if it's, I might not do a good enough job. Well, if you're burnt out, will you do a good enough job? If what's that phrase? You can't fill from an empty cup. Yeah, so your cup needs to be full for you to be able to do a great job. So if you've gone, Chris, from burnout and you're starting to serve yourself a little bit better, whatever it is that you're doing, can you just go on to the next bit that he said? I couldn't remember what he said. What did he say?
Recognizing how important it is to do less better, which is what Nicola mentioned. Better. So yeah, what a great t-shirt. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's exactly that. And it's like, what effect, what outcome do you want to have? Because you can go out there and do it now. But if you don't have the resources to be able to do it to your best, you're only going to feel guilty anyway about the lesser job potentially that you did. So it's like, give yourself a chance.
There you go, Chris. Thank you for sharing with us. Yeah, Gary backs up. You're not alone. Many already in that boat, I'm afraid. Becky says, I often find that the anticipation of a stressful situation is worse than the actual physical situation. I try hard to not let it overwhelm me. For example, the idea of returning to work post-lockdown was overwhelming, going from 0 to 100% working capacity with all the PPE protocols, etc. However, the actual experience was far easier than I expected, which leads me to think, I've lost it, leads me to think that was the point. What was the point in stressing over in the first place? So there we go. That's...
Yeah. I think I've used this phrase a few times already. We give away our energy worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. We are in the future, spending our time there, when in reality we need to be rebuilding ourselves and just staying present. I wonder if there are any procrastinators in the room who kind of worry about things and spend time there. I heard of a lovely book, and I've read the first bit, but the principle is really simple. It's called 54321. The book. I forget who the author is. Sorry, but if you Google it, book 54321. The principle is, if you need to do something and you're worrying about it, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just do it. Just do it. If you think about it, you're wasting your thought. Just do it.
Very good. Somebody Google that now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I forget the author.
Stick that in the comments because we'll want to see it later on. People are going, what was that book?
I can picture the person. I just can't picture the name. Sorry.
I'm sure somebody out there is Googling as we speak. We've got a question here from Alex. Alex says, I'm suffering with a big dilemma. Jack in the day job to be a full-time sports and relaxation massage therapist. The heart says do it, and the head says keep the miserable job and pension and be grateful. Okay, so that's often affects quite a few people who want to follow their passion and just do 100%. I'm happy to go to work, but they're worried about the risks financially and everything. So how does someone deal with a dilemma like what's the answer? Or is it always individual?
Well, personally, it sounds like he's answering his own question.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. He just wants someone to say, yeah, do it.
Trust. What did I say earlier on? Trust the first thought. Trust the first thought. And I know it's nerve-wracking, but if it's like, explore it. Explore the option thoroughly. Give yourself the respect by exploring the thought of, do you know what? I might be a full-time sport therapist.
Yeah.
Right. If you want that, and that's your gut speaking, that is what... this is me pointing my finger. That is what is important. Be true to yourself. Be true to that gut instinct, that intuition. That is God. The person who's read the Law of Attraction is going to be loving this. This is your absolute pure energy. Imagine your life, living and breathing that life. So, and just allow yourself to explore what that could look like. Explore what you would need to have in place. Start to make small steps of inquiries and investigations down that road. You don't need to jack in your job tomorrow. You can do all of this while you're still working, but your heart is actually somewhere else. You know, I wouldn't be here doing what I love, if I'd have stayed with the day job. I listened to my intuition and I believed in myself and I went and did it. And I did it in a safe way that I could afford to do it. So you have everything. You have everything within you to make it happen. Be true to yourself.
There you go, Alex. I didn't say anything yet. Don't blame me if it all goes pear-shaped. I mean, I'm just saying for the record.
I know that there's a couple of people listening who have done exactly the same and will vouch for that. So, yeah.
I've always done it without wanting. I've always ended up with, as soon as I'm in a job which has more responsibility and more money and answer to people, I've always ballsed it up by arguing with a manager or something and just going, without even trying and ending up getting managed out or something, because it's just not for me, having somebody I don't respect telling me what to do.
Well, yeah. So, self-sabotage is an easy thing.
Yeah. Anyway, good question, Alex. Yeah, I think it's a big dilemma that affects a lot of people. But yeah, just like Nicola said, be safe and check all your options. Yeah, I've got to do it tomorrow. Yeah, please don't do it now.
You know, no, don't go jack your
I always remember I managed a gym once and my cousin was there, I hadn't seen for years, and we were in the locker room and I was just checking everything was all right in there, and he looked a bit down. So, oh, yeah, all right, how's it going? And he said, oh, just not going well with my wife and blah, blah, blah. And I had time, I hadn't seen him for one. We had this conversation. I just kind of suggested, basically, I was saying what you were kind of saying. Look, if you're not happy, okay, and they had one child, and I said, if the child's not happy because you said you're always arguing, you got to think, you know, no one's winning out of this by forcing a relationship that's not. Well, he divorced her. I saw him like a month later, and he goes, oh, I'm brilliant. And he was like, oh, going to the gym. He says, you look really sprightly. Well, I separated my wife. I listened to what you said. Went home that evening. And said, this isn't working anymore. Oh, my God. Well, I went in the office and just sat down and thought, oh, my God, what have I done? In the end, it worked out, but you got to be careful, haven't you?
You do. You have to be very careful and you have to think about it. But the important thing is first is to tune into, it's almost like that intrinsic motivation where you want to make that change. Why? What is it? What is it? Imagine if you are living and breathing that career change, yeah, and you're doing exactly what you want to do. Imagine you're living and breathing that. What does that achieve for you? What does that give you if you're living and breathing that? How does that satisfy you? What does it satisfy within you? And if you can do that level of exploration, as I often do with every single one of my clients as a first off, that itself will give you the intrinsic motivation to start the process of change. People are either motivated towards what they want or what they don't want. The most successful people are motivated by what they want. So tune into what you want and why you want it.
There we go. Powerful stuff. Brilliant. Let's go down the comments. Let's see. We're at 9 o'clock now already, but I'm just going to go down the comment list and see. Blah, blah, blah. We've talked about Timothy's shoulder. Chris, we talked about being a bloody nightmare. Bum, 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 bum. Chris. Yeah, we saw that one. Alex has come back saying, you're absolutely right. I just wanted someone smarter than me to say, do it.
Say, do it. Yeah.
Brilliant. We suspected that. Yeah, but be careful. And we claim no responsibility for the Sports Therapy Association or anyone with us. Read the terms and conditions apply.
Read the secret. There we go.
Simon Hill has come in here saying, thank you for tonight's session. It's not quite over yet, Simon, but thank you for reminding me it's 9 o'clock. Some very good pointers to think about to help improve one's mindfulness. I know they will help me. Well, that's the idea. I think just things like this is a great way, isn't it, to help communication, talking with each other, with peers, with colleagues.
Do you know what I get? Do you know what I get a sense of from you know, I never know when I do these things where we're going to go. I get the sense that everyone's in the same boat, and it's just lovely to actually hear and share. And, you know, this isn't kind of, I had no idea what we were going to be talking about tonight, but it's whatever is useful. And yeah, you're pretty important. So just live up with yourselves.
Danielle says, this is for you, Alex, I think as well. Making the decision to go full-time as a sports therapist was the best decision. Absolutely love my job, my business, my decisions, my happiness. Oh, beautiful. Check that out.
Choice. Go on, Danielle.
It's always a tricky thing. We say it quite a few times. If you're a sports therapist and you're obviously somebody in life who cares about helping other people, you're willing to touch other people for a living, which a lot of people just hate the idea of. You know, you're willing to cross boundaries which other people don't like. So it's really tricky to do a part-time sports therapist. That's the sort of person you are, and you're that tactile, empathetic sort of person. It's difficult to mix that with a job where you're just sitting there punching figures and having someone whip you. It's just not very difficult to do both, because obviously you're doing this because you're not that sort of person, isn't it? My heart goes out to people who are trying to mix the two. It's very tricky, but yeah. Right then, well, look, it's 9 o'clock. Benjamin is here. This is great. Real positive vibes. This is exactly what I'm endeavoring. Thanks, Benjamin, for sharing. Yeah, keep going. Okay. So, Nicola, I mean, I've listened to you. I've watched you on my laptop, and I'm like, right, I need one of these to watch every day. If people do, obviously, this is where life coaching happens, isn't it? This is, yeah, I do. I need a little mini Nicola for my pocket. But if people do want to suddenly realize I need to hire the services of a professional who's going to drop these kind of gems to me, then obviously that's what you do, is it?
Yeah. I work, no matter what the person does, I work with the person within what they do. I help them tune into who they are, who they can be, and who they want to be to live the life and career and potential that they believe they're possible to do. So I coach one-to-one and do it on Zoom if you're not local. I've got clients all over. So,
and if people want to contact you, it's via the website, is it?
Yeah, look at my website, look at my blog, follow me on social media. It says Nicola my email is nicola@nicolaellwood.co.uk. There's my lovely face
and your lovely face and website here, which is worth a look around because there's so much information. As always, there's so much information.
Kind of what I'm about. It's like, be your best because you have one life. Live it.
There you go. And you've got a great blog and some very interesting reading there as well. So that's always a good look through. And if people want to contact you, then they can hit that. I work in the leadership space quite a lot, so I do a lot of blogs on leadership. Okay, fantastic. Right, so that is you. If people want to contact you, what are you doing face-to-face stuff at all? Is it all still virtual with the current circumstances, or I suppose normally you kind of go and talk to loads of people at the end of a room, don't you, or something? Or you have already in Therapy Expo. Are you not doing that anymore, or are you still going to start doing that? What's the rest of the year, basically, is what I'm trying to ask you. What's the rest of your year like? What have you got planned? Hello.
Oh, what have I got the rest of this year?
Is it all virtual, or are you managing to get out at all?
No. Interesting. You were talking about the face mask thing. I'm delivering a training program actually on communication skills. 30 people in the room at once, and I'm at the front facilitating it.
Fantastic.
And it's
okay. Where's that?
Oh, it's just so good. It's up at the KC Stadium in Hull.
Okay.
It's a celebration of basically young people who are working in business, doing really well, and it's training them to really be their best as young leaders. And so I'm doing that. I'm coaching a lot. I've got a very full diary in the rest of August and October. September's fairly flexible. Who knows? I never know what I'm going to be doing. It's all good. It's all good.
And obviously you listen to your own medicine because you can see from your smile that you love the job you do and you wouldn't want to do anything else.
I do. Do you know, I do. You know, those of you who know me know I do. You know, and don't get me wrong, I've done plenty of work on myself over the years. I didn't always used to be my own best friend back in the day. And that's the start. Anyone who's done what I do, I'm a master coach, which means I've spent 3 years learning about this stuff. And a master NLP practitioner and a certified trainer of NLP. To go through those level of qualifications, you've got to sorted some SHIT out.
Right, brilliant. Well, I haven't been to Therapy Expo for the last, when they said to me that they were tired of me talking about pain rather than just injuries, I thought, well, this is where I leave Therapy Expo alone. I don't understand what you're asking me to do here. This is what it's all about. It's about understanding pain. So I left Therapy Expo, so I haven't been there to see you speaking. But so it's the first time I've actually seen you speak, and yeah, I'm sold. And I thank you fantastically you've inspired me, and I'm going to be checking out your website, and yeah, very much looking forward to, hopefully, I like to hear that you are actually giving face-to-face presentations and stuff, because it's got to be the new norm. We've got to start trying to find a way to get on with life and not just lock ourselves away. I think that's the way forwards, but be responsible. So it's nice to hear you are managing to get out there.
Can I show you my little coaching space? Hang on a minute, look. Can I turn my screen around? There you go. Look, that's my coaching chair. Someone was sitting in it earlier on.
Oh, so it all happens.
There you go. It's this is my little coaching space. It's all go in my world. Just
fantastic.
I think there's something about that as well. It's like where you can get a sense of familiarity and normality, try and move towards that where you can, where it's safe to and natural to. If you can bring in, and there's nothing like it for me, you know, just getting back in person where I can, where it's safe to. There's nothing like it. So
fantastic. Well, thank you for sharing your inspiration and your pearls of wisdom. People, you know where to go if you want to talk to Nicola one-to-one, or just get some more advice, and plenty of stuff to read on our website, like I say. So thank you, Nicola. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to put you down to the lobby now. I will come and say goodbye to you officially in a couple of minutes. I'm just going to sign off here with the people.
Thanks everyone for listening. Thank you, and for your questions.
Thank you so much. Wow, wasn't that brilliant? I was struggling so much not to just concentrate on Nicola and just forget about you guys, because it's like I'm so impressionable with people telling me how if I'm good and I deserve more, because I believe them a lot. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. That was great. That was a fantastic show, and thank you for the words of appreciation in there, in the comments and everything. And I'm glad you took a bit of a time to open up and start sharing, but you did eventually, which was good. So thank you very much. Before I go and say goodbye to Nicola down in the lobby, just a reminder that One Chat Live conference on the 31st of October, which is 6 days, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that. I've got to make a decision whether it's going to be physical and virtual or just virtual. And it's going to be based purely on the amount of people who actually want to come down to Brighton, to like last year. At the moment, I'm not going to lie, it's looking heavily like the demand isn't there, which I understand, to make it worthwhile to rent the conference room and the speakers and the caterer is my mum, but the everything that goes towards it. So unless there's a mad sudden rush in the next 5 days, which there might be, people might be umming and ahhing, then it will become a virtual event, which means anybody, I know there's some people out there who have got tickets, physical tickets will be converted to virtual tickets. It's still going to be, if it does happen as virtual, then I'm going to put everything into it to make it look like it's as live as possible. I don't just want to be like a YouTube video one after the other. It'll be the same speakers. So, but if there are a few of you thinking, no, I want to get down to Brighton, no, I want it to happen. I want it to happen. I want us to show that we can have a conference mixing, using safe procedures, masks and all that. It's in the college, which is totally safe. I'll be teaching there as of next week. So if you are thinking, I want to get down to Brighton and be in the same room as like the speakers, Tom Goom and Claire Minchell and Trevor Pryor and all these people, Ben Cormack and all the other great speakers we've got, then you got 5 days. Okay. If you're not interested in the physical, then that's fine. Don't do it. But I don't want people coming to me in like 7 days time saying, oh, I was going to come down. Why did it? No, I've given enough warnings now. So there you go. Right, that's it. That's all I need to say. So thank you so much, people. Thank you once again to our guest, Nicola Ellwood, for sharing some fantastic pearls of wisdom and bombshells. It's great. I'm going to be thinking so much tonight as I listen to my podcast. But maybe I won't. Maybe I'll have a look at Headspace again. But yeah, thanks for joining us, people. As always, the conversation doesn't stop here. Keep putting stuff in the comments. Each of these episodes we do, it's nice because the comment section keeps growing. People come back to it. What were they talking about? Processes at work. Let's go to the Malcolm Sloan episode. Let's write some stuff on there. And I hope that hopefully this episode will be the same. If you've got anything you want to share or ask, I'm sure Nicola will be, if I let Nicola know, she can come in and answer stuff as well. So use this feed now to keep generating the discussion and supporting each other as you so wonderfully do so every week. We will be back next week. I haven't organized, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't organized. I've got the headspace, you know. I'm just forgetting about work now. I'm not gonna even think about who's next week. I'm gonna be in the present. Something's changed me now. So yeah, I'm not sure who's gonna be next week. I've got to make some phone calls. But we will be here as always on a Tuesday at 8 o'clock live from Let's Talk About at the Sports Therapy Association page. So thank you very much, everybody. Do keep sharing. It's lovely to see new people coming in, and it doesn't have to be a member to watch. Yeah, thank you for participating, being such a lovely bunch. We'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves and each other, and live in the present.